guys, welcome to another video, and today I'm going to be showing you what I eat in a day. And just a slight disclaimer, this is what I would cook for each day if I had a lot of time on my hands, but of course that is not the case, which is why I love to cook a lot all at once, so then I'll have a lot of leftovers for the next few days and I can just prep my meals like that, and it saves a lot of time. So if you want to see how I cook my meals and what I eat, then just keep watching. For breakfast, I'm going to have an egg on toast, and this is pretty much my go-to breakfast every day. So we're going to start off with 1 egg and 1 slice of bread. I typically like the honey wheat bread because I think it's healthier, but I like the taste better. So just gonna pop that into the toaster, and then I'm gonna spray the pan with butter oil, which I think makes the egg taste better. And I'm gonna crack it in, let it sit for a little bit. So how I typically cook open face eggs is I'll kind of swish it around and push in all of the sides with the spatula. And then I'll add the salt on top. And I love seasoned salt, so if you can get your hands on this, I definitely recommend it. And then I'll just continue pushing the sides together and checking if the bottom is done first. Then I'll flip it so then it cooks the other side evenly. And I'll let that sit for a little bit too. And then I'll continue pushing the sides, adding a little bit of salt to the back so it's even. And then I'll flip it back to its original side so then one side is crispier than the other. And that's about it. By the time the egg is done, the toast should have already been finished also. So now I'm just gonna scoop up the egg and then place it right on top of the toast, like so. And I'm gonna add a little bit of pepper. This is my favorite part. I like to keep the yolk a little uncooked so it's a little runny. Of course you can cook it longer if you prefer a fully cooked yolk. So this is the finished product. I like to eat this almost every morning with a glass of milk. For lunch, I'm gonna make a Brussels sprout and chicken pasta. So this is probably the recipe with the most ingredients, and here they are. You're gonna need some Brussels sprouts, chicken breasts, any type of pasta, chicken broth, onion, salt, pepper, 1 lemon, oil, minced garlic, and butter. So first I'm going to start off cutting a few Brussels sprouts. You want to make sure you cut them into about quarter size pieces or smaller, like I am doing right here. So just going to finish up cutting the rest of the Brussels sprouts. And then we're gonna go ahead and cut an onion. I like to cut it in half and then cut off the stem parts before I start slicing. And then I'll just go ahead and slice it like I am here. And then after that, I like to dice it and make them into decently small pieces, but they don't have to be perfect at all. Then I'm going to cut a lemon in half, and I didn't show the footage for this, but you're going to want to cut one side in half once again, and that's the side that we're going to use later. So here's the part where we actually cook the pasta. You can put in however much you want, but once again, I'm going to be cooking a lot. And then while the pasta's cooking, I'll put in 1 tablespoon of butter in the pan and a little bit of oil with it. Then I'll put the chicken in the pan and let that simmer for a bit. And then I'll add some salt, some pepper, and I'll flip it and redo the seasonings again. Then I'll continue to let the chicken sit in the pan. So once some time has passed, you'll want to flip it again And a trick I learned is to turn the chicken on the side and let the side cook, so then it finishes a lot faster than if you were to just have the chicken lay down flat. So once the chicken has turned to about this color, it's done. It doesn't have to be fully cooked because we're going to cook it again later. Now I'm just going to put it on a plate and then start cutting it into small pieces. You can cut them into however big or small you'd like, but this is the size that I just preferred at the moment. Now I'm gonna prep the pan with some minced garlic and olive oil, and then I'll first put in the onions and let that saute for a bit until it's a light golden brown. Now I'm gonna add in the Brussels sprouts and chicken broth and let it cook for a bit. Gonna add some salt, some pepper as usual, and stir it up. So now we're gonna add in the chicken. Then you're gonna wanna stir all of it together really well. Then add in your half a lemon. And once again, continue stirring. You wanna make sure you keep stirring so then it all cooks evenly. Now we're gonna finally add in the pasta. I honestly may have made a little bit too much pasta, but it lasted me a good while, so it was worth it. And now I'm gonna mix all of it together. And I added in a little bit of pesto for more flavor. You can also add in Parmesan cheese, but I just didn't have any at the moment. And I just mixed all of it up until every single piece had some pesto on it. And now I'm gonna place it onto the dish. So this is the final result of the Brussels sprouts and chicken pasta. I hope you give it a try. It looks a little intimidating, but is actually quite simple. Alright, dinner is my most favorite meal, especially because of this salmon recipe. Here I have some asparagus and some salmon. I like to freeze it so then it lasts longer. And now I'm just gonna fill the pan with water, let that boil, and then I'll add in the asparagus and just let it cook through. It typically takes longer for the asparagus to become more soft, so I just kind of do this for maybe about 10 minutes or so. Then I'm gonna drain all of the water out, being careful not to drop any. And then I'll add in some olive oil, but not too much. And then I'll put in salt, of course, seasoned salt, which changes the flavor of any vegetable. It's literally so amazing. And then I'll just stir that all together. And these are very easy to cook and they're already ready. So here I go placing them onto the plate. And now I'm just going to store the rest into a container for the next few days. So now that the salmon is defrosted, it's ready to cook. I'm just going to fill the pan with water once again and then place a piece of salmon on it. Then I'm going to flip it once and let the other side cook. Here I'm going to do the same trick as I did earlier with the chicken by laying it on its side and letting the salmon cook all evenly. So once the water has evaporated, I like to add oil, salt, and then I'll just keep flipping it as it cooks. If it gets too dry, add a little bit more oil. Now I'm going to add some seasoned salt. And once it's about this color, it should be good. And I love making it a little crispier on the outside. And it's done. Here we go with the cutting test. And it's absolutely perfect. It's so crispy on the outside and moist on the inside. So that is my salmon and asparagus dinner. I hope you try this one out because it's my absolute favorite. So that is all for my video. I hope you enjoyed watching and gained some new tips on cooking. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!